Treat for Indiana Fever to finish season in WNBA playoffs. Indianapolis. Starting Friday, the Indiana Fever have a 14-game sprint to the end of the 2024 regular season. Sitting at 11-15, the Fever have a good chance at making the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They have a relatively easy schedule and a lot of home games to potentially make that goal a reality. Here are 3 keys for the Fever to finish the season on a high note. Indiana Fever schedule breakdown. How many more wins do Fever need to make playoffs? Convert the winnable games. If the season ended today, the Fever would be the 7th seed in the WNBA playoffs, but they need to take care of the winnable games for a postseason trip. Earlier this year, the Fever came off a win against league-leading New York, only to lose against league-worst Washington. Then Indiana dropped its final game before the break against Dallas, the team tied with the Mystics at the bottom of the league. Indiana lost those games for a multitude of reasons. There were too many turnovers against Washington and too little defense against Dallas. Either way, those were games the Fever should have won but fell short. The Fever, looking at a relatively easy schedule with 9 of their final 14 games at home, have a chunk of winnable games against the Mystics, Chicago, Los Angeles, Atlanta, twice, and the Wings, twice. If the Fever can convert on those games alone, they would hit 19 wins and have a great chance at making the playoffs. The Fever were in the midst of this when they hit the Olympic break. But the coaching staff has spent over half the season trying out new starting lineups and rotations throughout the season, possibly compromising camaraderie and comfort on the court. In the final few games before the break, Indiana seemed to have it down with the starting lineup of Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Nalisa Smith, and Katie Lou Samuelson. Lexi Hull went from DNPs to one of the first off the bench with solid rotation minutes, and Christy Wallace went the opposite, from the starting lineup to multiple DNPs. Guard Erica Wheeler has also seen her minutes dwindle over the course of the season, while forward Damaris Dantas, who was only activated in July because of a knee injury, has found herself getting rotation minutes. Based on the games before the break, the Fever have been consistently using an 8-player rotation with their starters playing around 30 minutes, as well as Hull getting 15 to 20 minutes and Wheeler and Dantas getting 5 to 10 off the bench. Those things could change though with 3 weeks of straight practice during the Olympic break, and players breaking in new sets and rotations. The only player the Fever didn't have in Indianapolis was Wallace, who won a bronze medal with Team Australia, but she had also been trending out of the rotation. The Fever will have another wrinkle in their rotation when Temi Fagbenle returns from her thumb injury. Fagbenle was sidelined with the injury in early July, eventually transitioning into a hard cast just before the Olympic break. While she has shedded the cast, the Fever are still being cautious with her hand. "We're close," Fever coach Christy Sides said Tuesday. "We're a lot closer than we were before the break. We don't want to do anything